the Pure Goddess channel. My name is Gwenly. Happy Monday to me and to a lot of people. Feels like a good Monday to start off the week. Thank God. Thank the universe. Thank you, Jesus. Just have gratitude, a lot of gratitude this morning. And I feel like myself today. And that's a blessing in itself. Gratitude and thankfulness for my angels, my ancestors, my spiritual guides of the highest white light, for always having my back, for protecting me. Very grateful. For protecting me from... It's not easy out here, you guys. It's not easy to go out of your home, even in your home, because us chosen ones, we feel it all. We know it. Even in my apartment complex, I'm in my own space, my own apartment with my son. It don't matter if it's the person living next to me, below me. You know, there's people outside of my, literally out of my window in the garden area. We just tend to, like, you know, we know there's energy around the area, right? And we feel those people and we read those people, and they're very low vibrational, especially the area I'm at. And you know, sometimes I get tired of it. I get very, very tired of it. And a lot of people are against you. A lot of people are jealous, envious of you. They don't like your light. They don't like that you're so like private. They don't like that you're so like quiet. You're not gossiping or talking about your personal life so they could like spread rumors or talk about it with other neighbors. You know, whatever I speak out, that whole week, for example, let's say I spoke to a neighbor this morning when I went outside of my home, and what they will do, let's say I mentioned something, and whatever I say, it's like, whoa, you know, it's like news to them, obviously, because I don't say a peep, I don't say a word. So imagine me saying something, and it's like the talk of the town, like the talk of the apartment complex. They're, you know, spreading it around, even if it's a general thing. It's like, oh my God, the news of the day, the news of the week, you know. And it's a lot of jealous people, you know. And I live humbly like everyone else, and people just don't know how to mind their business. And sometimes it gets frustrating. It gets really irritating because people try to push your buttons. People that don't know you there, they don't know how to push your buttons, right? But I have this girl who I was was friends with her off and on for a little bit, and she didn't really know too much about me. But, you know, she knew more than the typical neighbor. And so she's the type of person who just takes, you know. And I'm a giver. And we're both single parents, you know, and she wasn't mad at that. I was, right? Because it's like that was not a plan for me and my life and my son's life. I was, you know, this was like 2 years ago, 2.5. And, you know, she has limited resources and I had more resources than her. For example, a vehicle, and, you know, I would help her out and we became friends and we got along. You know, we both have little kids, opposite sex, but we both got along. So, you know, we had a social connection, right? Just a general connection. Until I started noticing that she was copycatting me. She was copying me a lot. Copying my mannerisms, the way I speak, the way I dress, you know, and I dress normal. I don't dress to bring out attention at nothing of that sort. Or talk you know, like provocatively or anything. But she just started doing everything. Trying to act like me, you know? And that was just weird for me, right? It was getting really weird for me. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be standoffish with her and just see her less, right? But we live literally a few steps away from each other. When I go to my car, I have to pass her apartment. So, and she always had to be outside when I'm leaving. It's like she's waiting for me. It's like stalker. Definitely stalker vibes, like 100%. My intuition is always spot on. So, you know, I started being like stalker and like, where are you going? I'm like, you can't even live in peace, because it's like she's asking in a friendly manner so it doesn't like look like she's being a fucking stalker or weird or controlling. Like, ugh, I don't like people like this. I've had too many in my life, too many. And so it was really hard to get rid of her, you know. And she's the type of person who, like, she will bombard you with all of her drama, her shit, her problems, and not ask you how you're doing. When I was like, at that time, I was like drowning in my life. And just because you know how to excuse me, go with the punches, go with the waves, like, go with it. You look like you could cope with it well. You look like you could handle it. Doesn't seem like you're really going through stuff. But inside, in your personal life, if you ask, you are really going through it. Excuse me. And, madman behind me was just cursing because I don't hurry up. Anyways, you know, so I got tired of it, and I was just like, this is not working out. You're not giving, you're just taking. And these people just are victim mentality, victimhood, victim mentality, and it will act like, oh my god. Ugh, sounds like my mom. she's the same way. But she will, you know, when I told her, because some people are delusional as heck. Some people are so delusional, they will believe their own shit, even though it's not the reality, even though it's not the truth, right? Some people will live like this forever. And I can't tolerate it because my own mother is like this, right? So, excuse me. So, you know, I told her truth. I was like, this is not balanced. It's not a fair relationship. Like, I cannot. You're taking more, and I need help. Like, I need support. Whatever it is, friendship support. You don't need to, like, buy me anything. You don't need to, like, take me here or there. Like, you don't need to do anything. Just be there for me. It's free. It doesn't cost you nothing. And she was slowly doing it, but, like, she didn't want to. So, and that's always how it goes for me with friends, right? Because there's just envy and jealousy, and, like, my light's too fucking bright for them because they need to heal, you know? And even though I had so much healing to do, I could still cope with people's shit and be there for them. People aren't strong like this. You rarely meet people that are like this in life. So I was like, no, I can't deal with another baggage. Like, it was baggage for my personal life. I just felt like so brought down because she had so much shit, and she just didn't care to, like, make me feel good at all. And she, you know, like, I'm a struggling single mom who is having so much black magic, like, thrown at them, always, like, people evil eyeing, always people hating on you, no support at all. Family is karmic. Family acts like that they're helping you. Family, blah blah blah. They don't do shit for me. They just judge and talk whatever situation I'm going through, and I just got used to it, right? Obviously, my whole life. And struggling mom trying to keep a roof over my son and my head, and dealing with a narcissistic ex who's my son's father. Thank God I moved states away from him. If not, it would be like the death of me, honestly and literally. But you know, dealing with him and, like, financial abuse, knowing that he could send, you know, money to us but not doing it, and being very manipulative about it, and knowing that I'm stressed the fuck out, and, you know, I need help, and very manipulative, and then emotionally, mentally, you know, abusive. And I was just done, you know, like, how much can I handle? You know, backstabbing from my own family, my family being 900% one day and the next day being 0. Or just being two-faced, you know, just being two-faced about it, and oh, you're fine, not giving good advice, you know, things like this. So excuse me. So just going through a lot, and then meeting my twin flame and dealing with his karmic family, his karmic exes, and them doing black magic, evil eyeing, like, black magic. When I tell you the shit they were doing, throwing smear campaigns, grouping especially the females, grouping other nasty females who are like robots who believe anything. But you know, gathering people and like stalking me on social media, and you know, I am very intuitive and I feel all that. So like I know what you're doing, and I am I'm warned. Jesus. I'm warned beforehand when things happen or when things are gonna pop out off. Excuse me. Jeez. So, so going through a lot. At the end of everything, I dropped this friend, you know, and I really hoped like it would work out, right? Our kids could like play together, and she was just very standoffish and weird. Like there's a limited time I could go to her house, and like she just felt like she didn't feel comfortable, right? People don't want me to talk about their shit. But so you know, I awaken people, right? I bring awakenings to people's lives just by being in their lives. I don't need to do anything. I am of the light. I want to start working with white light, but I really want to get educated on it. I really need to start. You know, it's like there's something like we want to do, but we don't get started, and like it's been like that for a while. But I was really afraid in working with like white magic, you know, and it's all positive. There's nothing evil to it. It's not black magic. It's not dark magic. I don't know about that. I've never researched about it because I don't want to know anything about it. But it's also not good to know anything about it, because then you're not going to be knowledgeable about it when it's being done to you. You're not going to know the symptoms. You're not, you know. So now that like it's been 2-3 years that I've gone through, like it's been rough. A lot of awakenings, ascensions, things like this, spiritual warfare, like crazy spiritual warfare. And I've dealt with spiritual warfare, black magic, spells all my life, my whole life, since I've been a little girl. Since the age of 4 or 5, I remember clearly, and by my own family. And you know, some things we block out of our lives when we're young because we are scared, we don't know. It's not a good feeling, so we try to block it out. But it's not like we forget that memory. It's just really, it's blocked, right? Until we have awakenings, until we start healing. Imagine all the shit I've been through since I was 4 years old. All the shit I've had to unblock in order to get to this in order to unblock this in my life. This is like my favorite song, but it came out when I was like in 7th or 8th grade, 6th to 8th grade, and in 7th grade, I felt so good. I was going through like puberty, and I felt like, my body was like transforming, and like I felt so good. And then something bad happened to me. Like, my life has always been like this. It doesn't even matter to fall to lose it all, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. This song is the shit. I don't listen to it too often, but I think like 2 or 3 weeks ago, it just came out of, like, it popped in my feed for like rock music, right? There's a song that I was listening to called Far Away by Nickelback, which is music from the time that this song came out. And it's more like a gothic rock song. It's not like dark, but it's like dark. Being in, like, I feel powerful, listening to this song, because trust in you as I can go. There's only one thing you should know. I put my trust in you. Push as far as I can go. There's only one thing you should know. Too far to lose it all, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. It's a deep song, and it's a real song. My life, most of my life, sounds like that. I'm just so grateful and thankful that I've overcome the hardest part of my life, and all the warfare, like, I've passed. Like, I know God is so proud of me. Like, I've reached a level that my frequency is so high, nobody can touch me anymore. And it's been a hard fucking journey, and I've put in the work. I've put in the work because I'm fucking tired of it. I'm tired of this. I'm so tired of this life. I'm so tired of, like, the closest to me, like, attacking me and, like, hating me and being jealous and envious. I'm just so tired, and it's like I can't even catch a break because fucking strangers are like this. A new job I go to, any single job I go to, people are like this. It's like, it's the demonic energy, right, that wants to destroy you, and they jump from vessel to vessel, body to body, and it's just never ending. I've dealt with demons my whole life since I was a girl. Like, I'm exhausted, like, I know them, like, real well, and it's just, like, I know I had to learn a lot, and I'm so thankful for it, but, like, I was done, and I'm still done. I'm exhausted from my body and my everything, every part of me is just so exhausted. Sleep, I can't catch up with it. You know, like some days are good, some days I'm just exhausted, like drained, you know. And for so long, like my whole life, I've been fucking fighting spiritual warfare. And I'm just done, you know. And I can't even fathom, I can't explain how exhausted, how tired I am. Like, I've never had peace in my life. And I finally have peace in my life. Doing all the work that I've needed to do, taking all the people out of my life that I've needed to take out, including family. Family was like the last of it, right? And like, I've been doing the work fearlessly, overcoming that fear of like putting action into wanting better for your life while getting attacked every second of every day. I mean, I can't even walk out my door without getting evil-eyed or stalker looking at me, or just vibes. It's like people don't have nothing to do in their lives, like nothing better to do, you know. And those are the people that are just annoying, because some people, you know, and I understand why, but like admiration, there's this and that, but like my neighbors are just, I can't deal with them sometimes. And I don't care, I stay to myself, and I don't care what you think of me if I'm like rarely talking to you, or like I just say hi. I have a toddler, so he loves to say hi to everyone, you know. He doesn't, my baby, he doesn't see these things, right? But we get drained. Our energy gets drained very, very easily. And so my downstairs neighbor across from me downstairs, he, you know, knowing more about his background by a neighbor that he got into an argument about or with a few months ago last year, I found out that he was in jail. And he, you know, I had like one good talk with him a few weeks ago, and you know, it seemed fine. But this is what happened, because I'm a smart bee. I listen to like gospel music a lot of the time, and I have a few songs that are my favorites. I don't listen to like all of it, but like it was talking about Jesus and like faith and like, you know, God. And so I know he heard that, right? My windows were open, but that's how he that was his opportunity to like have something in common, right? Because I don't say shit about my life. Like, if you're speaking about your life and what you do every day, like, it's so easy for people to be like, oh, she likes this, okay, I'm gonna like this so I can get close to her, for whatever motive you have, right? And so I learned to shut up and not to say shit to anybody. Like, if you really want to know me, I'm like, you're gonna have to work for it. I don't give a fuck who you are, because I'm too fucking nice. And I needed to have boundaries. Like, I learned the hard way to have boundaries, you know. Because people don't have the same heart as you. People always have a motive. They're always selfish, greedy, envious, jealous. It's just disgusting, you know? And I always gave people benefit of the doubt. I always said to myself, well, they're nice, but they put a fucking mask on, you know? They're fake. They mirror you. And I'm like, no, bitch, I am like this, like forever. This is me, my authentic self, my truth. This is who I am. But you're a two-faced bitch. You know, like, it's just, it got to a point I was just fed up with people. I don't want to see no one. And like every single person in my life who wanted to enter my life never had good intentions. And I just got sick of it. I'm just done. I'm done, you know? So if you want to be in my life and stay in my life, you're gonna have to work so hard. Because if I could take my own family out of my life, who the fuck do you think I am, you know? My family was the worst of the worst. And they still stalk me. I obviously haven't moved, but they still drive around my house to see if my car is there. You know, I've lost contact. I changed my phone number, everything. You know, it's just like, I'm done. Like, I don't play games, first of all. So whoever had me fucked up in the past, seriously, they regret that shit now. But, and some people don't, right? Because they're just karmic and immature souls and childish, you know? They're just young souls that need to experience and go through a lot of harsh experiences. Because that's just how it works, right? And so this neighbor, he decided, well, let me have something. This is what I have in common with her. And you know, I read the Bible every day. He was saying it, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I mentioned some stuff about God, and you know, and it was cool. And he thought he could get close to me, right? He has a spirit of lust, so he wants to sleep with whatever female comes to him. And he's an older guy. He was in prison, I don't know, for 10 years. That's what he said. And since the first week that he moved in, I knew he wasn't like, there's a wannabe ex-Venezuelan guy who tried to date me but just wanted to sleep, and I read his fucking energy like this, and he's right there. He just wanted to sleep with me, and I don't play games. I'm not gullible, and whenever he sees me, he just wants to be the center of attention. I'm not that point in my life, but so this person, you know, he and I'm not judging if someone was in prison, in jail for 10 years. Like, I want to know what happened, you know, what occurred. But I'm not there yet to ask you. I don't care that much to ask you, right? And it's not in a bad way. It's just like, I mind my own business. I'm not like gossipy and like, I need to know your whole life. Like, I'm not gonna ask you a million questions, because I'm just focused on me. I just don't care about gossip. Like, when the time comes, that question will be asked, right? And also I could see someone's intentions, right? And he has the spirit of lust, spirit of like, you know, and he doesn't work. He, you know, like he has nothing going for him in his life, you know. So he minds everyone's business. He's always outside. He's always like, you know, in the beginning when he just moved in, it was like just so weird and like stalker. And I was like, I can't, like, this is just disgusting to me, you know. Like every time my son and I, we would be leaving our home, outside our door, he would like, we would be walking down the stairs. Obviously he lives downstairs, he could hear people walking. He would come out like, oops, at the same time we're coming out, like, bitch, stop being fake, like I could see right through you, you know, like so uncomfortable. I'm like, fuck this, you know. Like I mentioned it to the manager a few months ago, and like the manager is like petty as fuck too. Petty. And she likes to start arguments and fight with people. And I had something, run stuff going on, and I saw her last week and she tried to do that shit to me. I'm like, no. My energy speaks for itself. Like, you shut the fuck up. And people just talk minimum what they need to, and that's it. Like, you even get like confused and you're just like, huh, whatever. Like, I'm so protected, you can't, you just can't, you know. Like, I know what the fuck you're thinking. Like, I'm not even saying shit to you, but like she tried to put fear into me. She tried, you know, and it's just, it's not happening. Like, I heard from the downstairs neighbor, because people talk, right, that nobody likes her. Like, she's fought with like females who are older, like 3 of them. She's got into it with them in their office when I had to do something about the apartments, obviously, because she's the property manager. But she tried that shit with me, with the handyman in the, as witness, you know, like in the office. Like, the handyman's a teacher, he's a teacher's pet, you know. It's like he doesn't have a backbone yet. He just follows whatever is told from him, and that's just unfortunate because he's a good man, but he just needs to grow the fuck up. He's on the younger side. He's probably like my age, I think. Decent person, but like he's just like and she tried that shit with me and it just didn't work. I'm like, you look stupid as fuck, and she just shut the fuck up. Like, she's just, oh, but you know, like eviction and this. I'm like, yeah, I know the dates, I never received the paper, whatever, but this is the letter that I am getting help for those, you know, 1 or 2 months. Like, what else do you need? Do you need a contact information from whoever I'm in contact with my case? And she didn't say yes or no. You know, it's like, I don't play games. People like to play games. I get straight to the point. If not, like, I'm leaving. Like, what the fuck? I don't play, you know? Like, cut the bullshit. You know, she likes to bullshit a lot. Like, I'm not gonna go around in a circle with you, you know? And she tried to put fear into me, you know? And I'm like, yeah, I know, like, you know? And, you know, there's so many people, like, who are being evicted, who have been evicted, who are going through, like, you know, like, shit is expensive. Like, people can't, like, have a roof over their heads. Like, it's expensive. People are homeless, you know? Like, everyone sees it. It's a world thing. Especially here in the US, you know, it's a national thing. But you know, thank the Lord that I've received help, and you know, I'm fine right now, you know, until I get back on my feet, right? And so, you know, she tried to do that and it didn't work. And then I could have been petty. Like, I know her insecurity. It's like, I read her. I read anybody, you know, to filth. Shit just comes to me, you know. My guides, my spiritual guides tell me everything. I don't need to even ask, you know. So just being discerning, and, you know, so I don't even need to ask. Like, I'm not nosy like that at all. That's why I'm told everything. But when people, I don't play, you guys. I do not play at all. I play a little bit now. I'm more laid back. You know, before I was always, probably looked like I was stuck up all the time. Now I just cut the shit right there, right at the spot, usually. And but this neighbor guy, I always, this is my train of thought. This neighbor, you know, we spoke for a good 40 minutes or so, and, you know, he thought I was there. You know, he thought like we would be talking every day. He would be knowing my personal business, because people have tried to talk to me, and no matter the age, you know, and it's just like, you know, and it's nothing against them, you know, their circumstance, their position in life, nothing, because I used to judge like that because of how I grew up. I grew up like struggling, you know, my family always struggling, being broke, sometimes poor, and because of my like extended family, or how do you say, like my aunts and uncles of my mom's side, they always, it was like flashy, materialistic, and like this, you know, no stuck up people who liked you if you had this brand or whatever, you know. And I've always like been so against that and just hated it, because I mean, my mom has 2 sisters, 1 brother. The brother is in her country, in Guatemala. He's always lived there, and he is I think he's in a wheelchair. But that oldest sister and the middle sister live here in this state. And so the middle sister, she was always my favorite, because she didn't give a shit. She didn't give a fuck. Like, she wouldn't, like, and I laugh inside, because I haven't shaven my legs in a long time, so they look like hers. Like, she doesn't give a fuck. She would wear shorts and like go to the river or be doing her errands, and with her like looking like a man, you know, like just not shaven. And especially the mustache, like, you know, I think all the females have like some facial hair on their face, and she wouldn't shave, you know, she wouldn't take, not that she wouldn't take care of herself, but she just didn't give a fuck. And my mom was like, she's the youngest of the 3, and she would always, she's like in the middle, you know, like she doesn't care, but at the same time she wants to like be like the eldest sister. The eldest is all about material, like oh, I have this, I have that, I have money, I have this and that, like I'm something, you know. And she made herself something, you know, and she has like, you know, she's popular in her own community thing or whatever. And you know, her daughters are like that too. And like, you know, it's just like very, they look down upon you and this and that, and like you have to kiss their ass, and like, oh, fuck that shit. And I say it because it's my family. Like, they never accepted me. Never. Have never been accepted by them, you know. And they always look down on me, and like, you know, it's just ew. And so my mom always tried to kiss my aunt's ass and try to be, you know, and try to be something. And I get where it comes from, because my aunts, my mom, they lost their mom when my mom was like 8 years old from cancer. She passed away from breast cancer. And so I get, you know, like my eldest aunt, it was like the mother figure to her sisters. And they grew, my mom, she wants nothing, like for me to know nothing about history of our generations, because she never like told us any stories. And that's how much hate she has towards me. Like, that's how much she doesn't like. She's always been my enemy, my number one enemy, my whole life. She just doesn't like me, you know, always in competition with me. Like, do you think, like, when females or males, because my narcissistic ex was in competition with me, people, male or female, are in competition with me, you know, and have always been. So when you're so young, like your own mother is competing with you, and you're the daughter, you're a girl, and she competes with you, like, what the fuck? Do you think someone from the outside is gonna like bother me that they're in competition with me? That's why I've always learned to be in competition only with myself, because my own mother has always been in competition with me. Like, I can never be, you know, like, I just don't get it. I mean, I do get it, and I know why, but like, my son, when my son was born, I realized, wow, how fucked up my mom was to me. Like, seriously. Because how can you have a heart and act and treat your own daughter, your own kid, like this? Like, you're a fucking enemy. I could never do that to my son, you know? Like, my son is my world. I could never look at him in that way. Like, it's crazy. It's so crazy. And my mom is still my enemy, you know? Like, it's just crazy. You know, I have, and I'm still doing it and learning how to parent my own self, you know? Being my own mom, my own dad, being my own sister, my own brother, you know? And it's, you know, I don't think about it like that, like, oh, I'm sad, but like, it's a little sad to, like, it's sad, not just because brother, like, family wise, but I've never had, like, protection. I've never had someone that I could lean on. I've never, you know, I've always been on fight or flight mode. I've always been in, like, you know, like the worst, you know? I've always felt the worst. I've always, because of my family, you know, I've always been the light in my family, in my household, my family's household, and like always there for people. Like, I was raised to like put myself last by my own mom because she just didn't like me. Like, everything, you know, and I always, like, I knew her issues. I knew, like, the dark depression she would go through. I knew a lot of things. And I try to be her healer, her therapist. I try to be there my whole life. And she just didn't want it. And I got tired of it. I'm like, you're just draining the fuck out of me. Like, you're using me. And, you know, my own parents were, my own mother was my biggest learning lesson in my whole life. You know, so like whenever people and who come into my life, who are in my life in a sense by whatever reason, and they act like how my mom has been, how my enemy was, it's nothing. It's nothing. Like, I just like I don't give a fuck. I really don't care, you know? Because at the end of the day, we should only be competing with ourselves. I had, you know, and biggest, I've been in school, like hard knock school my whole life, you know? And it's been hard, like going, like having a backbone and standing up for myself and for my beliefs and my wants, and being so proud of the person that God, you know, just being proud of me, of the person that God has always like guided me to be, and I've never given up on him. And my faith is I have a strong faith with God. And my whole life I've known God. He's always been in my life. But on purpose, I've never been taught about the Bible, about God, about Jesus Christ. I've never been taught anything. I was never encouraged or motivated. Like, I was never encouraged to read the Bible. But my younger sister was encouraged to read the Bible. They would take her to church and this and that, and like having faith. Like, my mom just put me in a box, you know, and made me suffer. Like, nothing good, nothing positive belongs to you. That's how she treated me. It was the worst of the worst. And I still need healing to do because it keeps coming back. This book, like, to reality to really hit me in what really she's put me through. There's a book called A Child Called It. And this book, I mean, I think there's 2 or 3 books, but she would read this book when I was younger. And she would treat me like that. And there's a lot of mental instability in my family, like with my aunts and my mother. So who knows what they went through when they were kids growing up without parents, because their dad, they didn't have a dad either. Who knows what they went through, you know? Like, these are things they don't speak about, so only they know. And I was never included in like the family circle, like with my aunts, my uncles, and the thing is, like, there's no uncles, there's no dads in the picture of like my cousins or anything. The only uncle that stayed, that's still in the family, is my my eldest aunt. She's still married with my uncle, but you know, it hasn't been easy, you know, and it's not the healthiest. But I've never been included in the family things. First of all, obviously when I was a girl, like, but like, it's just so low vibrational. I just can't. Once I got older, like, that I could stay at home by myself, things like this, I never wanted to go because it's just like low vibrational drinking and like gossiping. Like, it's so boring to me, and that's just my nature. I can't be low vibrational like that, right? So I don't have things in common with them, like talking about people at school, like cousins my age or 2 or 3 years older than me, talking about and gossiping from other females or other people at school, or what they did or what we did, and like, or gossip work or school people, you know, like, it's just not in me, you know? So they knew I've always been like that outcast, you know? Like, no, I don't think I'm better than you, but like, I'm not gonna stoop down to your level to talk shit about people. It's not in me. It's not my heart. You know, like, it's so normal in society. It's so normal. Everyone does it, right? But it's the worst thing you could ever do. Like, I knew God since I was really small, you know, and like, just so, it felt so like bad to do things like this, because God listens and he hears everything that goes on in life. I don't understand. God presence so powerful in my life since I was young, so I've always been afraid. If his presence wasn't so known to me, and I've fallen in that too when I was older. But if his presence wasn't so strong, and like me really seeing what God does, and you know what he does to people, especially my family, like, I know God is listening, you know, especially like, it's hard to explain, but when I was younger, like, you know, I'm gifted. You know, like, I was gifted these gifts, you know, like, where I could hear what people are saying in the other room. Like, I know what they're saying just by reading their energy, by feeling their energy, and like, I just know automatically, you know. I read minds. It's just, you know, and that would scare me, because I know, I can't recall right now, but it's been a few times where my parents have been like shocked or afraid of me, or me like speaking the truth when it's bullshit, and they hate it because they've always been so fucking fake, you know, and they just like kind of push me to the side because they just wanted this fucking fake ass life. They have to wear like the newest clothes from like Express, and like every time they would go to like a weekend party, you know, they would get invited to it, like, I always had to wear something new, right? And that's normal, but like, we didn't have money for that shit, you know? And I always knew like people's truth, like, you can't fucking lie to me. But as a young girl, I was really pushed away and pushed down. But anyways, this book, a child called it Very Abused Boy. Very abused boy. I think the mom would like lock him in the garage for days and like barely feed him, like an animal, you know, like a kidnapped child. And the kid will never go outside, and you know, and like, you, oh my god, it just breaks my heart, because my childhood was like that. And I remember telling my mom, like, oh, I want to read this book, you know, like, when you're done with it, like, because she, you know, when she moved on to the second book of that, she gave me the first book, and I started reading it, and it was like how my life was, you know, not exactly, but a lot of it, you know. And like, we had to unless we're doing something good, like earning good grades or whatever, like my mom didn't give us love, you know, affection. Like we had to earn it. And the more toxic and petty, the more low vibrational, like you would get praised, you know, because that's who they are. They're karmics. Like my mom doesn't like, it's like Matilda, literally like the movie Matilda. I was that child, you know, like so smart and intelligent and like mature, and I wanted to talk about things, but like my family just didn't give a fuck. They just wanted to like be watching TV, eating like microwavable dinner or takeout, and be laughing about nonsense, you know? Like they had, their brains were fried. They had nothing in their head, you know? They didn't care about anything. Just how they looked, right? How they looked to the outer world. That's my family. And, you know, and I know I have a big purpose in this life, and you know, I want to be there for those kids who, when I was small, like I needed someone, you know, and but I need to make it bigger, you know, like I can't I'm not, you know, like being some counselor, some teacher, you know, out of school, for grade school, and being there for them. That's the best, right? Making a change, being there for those kids that were in my position, that I was in that position. I needed someone to give me hope and light and love, and like everything's gonna be fine, you know, like the change I'm gonna make, it's gonna be like, obviously the internet, social media is big. Everyone has access to it. But the change I want to bring is this, that anyone could access it, you know, because it's good. The experience is good, right? To be a grade school teacher or whatever, be involved with kids who deal with things like this, with households, with family. And there's no, you know, you don't feel hope. You don't feel like you have any hope for your future. Because you don't feel like you're in the right family, right spot, you know? You feel hopeless. You don't feel like there's life within you because your own family has crushed you down, has crushed you so bad, has taken the life out of you, literally. Like, what is there, you know? And that's the change I want to bring, you know? Be there for other kids. Like, literally be there for other kids, but in a national, in a global way, you know? So that's one of like my purposes, because it's not easy. It's not easy. And now I have my son. He's 4, and he needs me, and I still need healing to do, right? And I need to teach him about life and teach him about things. And I was never well coped, well prepared for the outside world ever. My parents never taught me anything, and I had to learn on my own, and that was really hard too. A lot of lessons, a lot of hard lessons. But yeah, you know, one day I want to read that book again, The Child Called It. And I think that will like help me heal and help me unblock things that I blocked in my younger years of life. But I did go through a lot of abuse in my household, in my parents' household, with my own mother. And I know it has to do with how they grew up too, because in some circumstances, off and on, they went through a lot of shit too by their own parents or their caretakers. So for them, that was normal. But like really going to like the darkest and raising your kids in that is really, it's just horrible. It's just horrible. Like our household was just dark and depressing, and dad, I was the only one who would revive it and be everyone's like counselor and like motivator, like let's do something, let's whatever it was. I was that person. I was the eldest sister. I would always make everyone like feel good and happy and loved. I was the mother to my siblings, to my own mother, to my own father. I've always been there for my family. And what I was given in return, they manipulation, spells, black magic. They dragged my name through the mud and they told stories and lies about me. They judged me. You know, so many things. And I did have resentment for a very long time. But I've learned to let go. And it's been a journey. It's been a healing journey. Because without healing, you can't forgive. You'll still have like that dark spot in your heart. Because you have so much resentfulness and hatred, and you're just angry, right? From being hurt. And it's a work in progress, you know. I'm still healing, and it's gonna be a while, because everything, all what had happened to me, what I went through with my family, I took them out of my life. My father is still in my life. I have not cut him out, but I don't see him. It's been it's been 2 years I haven't seen my father. I saw him 4th of July almost 3 years ago, obviously in 2 months or a month and some. Yeah. I talked to him on the phone for a few months after the last time I saw him, and that's it. And I had an awakening, and I saw his true colors. You know, he just covered it with like black magic and manipulation and spells, and him being that parent, because my parents are divorced. They separated when I was 8 years old. So he's that parent that he supports me. But it was all bullshit, right? He did support me in a lot of ways compared to my own mother. My mom was my enemy. My dad was my covert enemy. He would do shit behind the scenes, right? He was into like talking to psychics on the phone, doing spells, you know, manipulation, things like this. I know for a fact that both of my parents' sides, there is some like, there's gifts in them. There's gifts, like generationally, people had gifts and abilities. But do you think my parents ever said anything? No, because I am the one that has all the gifts out of all the generations. I have all the gifts. They may have 1 or 2 or 3, but they use it for the darkness, for evil, for selfishness, selfish reasons. And I have all the gifts, and they tried to block me for my whole life. You know, doing spell work, putting spells, manipulation, having me live in a very low vibrational way that I couldn't aspire to be anything. Like they broke my confidence and my ability for anything, to live in a high frequency lifestyle. They broke me down since I was a child, and they worked hard to do that. But I've never given up on myself, even if sometimes I felt like I did, but I never gave up on me. And God has always been on my side, even though I've forgotten a lot of times that I've forgotten, or I didn't feel him. He has always been on my side. And so 111 on the timer. You know, and now finally I have peace in my life. Peace. For the first time in my whole life, I have peace in my life. There's still black magic being done. There's still spells, still evil eye. You know, all these things going on in everyday life. Like, it's non-stop. It's never rest. It's never, like, you can never rest, you know? But this type of peace that I have, no one can take away from me. I am so protected. The only person that could give you peace like this is the Lord. And I'm just not used to it. It feels so uncomfortable. I'm getting more comfortable. But I'm just like, where is the next one gonna come? Where is the next attack? But I've put in the fucking work, you guys. When you go through so much, like your whole life, I'm 31. Your whole life, you've been attacked and attacked and attacked and attacked and attacked and attacked and attacked, and you put in the work, and you heal, and you know, like, you fucking put in the work, the real work within, spiritually. You just don't, you don't cover it, you don't mask it, you put in the work, and you heal, and you learn from the lessons, right? Because we make mistakes too. And I did live a karmic lifestyle. In my early 20s, in my teens, I did live a karmic lifestyle, you know, but I learned. And when you learn and you pass those tests, 9 out of 10 times, it's always a test from God, from the Most High. Always, you know, and we don't give up. We have to keep going. We have to pass that test. We have to keep going, no matter how much fucking warfare is around us, is how much attacks we're getting. We have to, like, keep going. There's no stopping, you know. We have to learn. I mean, you get so tired, it's like, okay, I'm done. Like, I need to stand up for myself. I need to learn those lessons. Like, no more bullshit, you know? Like, I'm not gonna take no more, and that's it. And when you start putting your words into action and actually, like, it's not just talk, you walk, you know? You walk it like you talk it, right? You put on the armor of God. And you fight, you know? You don't give up. That's when we're gonna win. That's when you win. You know? My biggest lesson is the people in my life and boundaries. And with all that, life lessons and experiences and, like, healing and passing tests, like, your discernment will get so strong from all those experiences. And it's just like a mind fuck, right? Because it's like you're so used to all this crap, all this darkness. When you're a light, that you feel like, when is the next one gonna come? You know, like finally I'm resting. I get to rest, and no one can take that away from me, because God has given me this peace, this rest. No one can take it away from me anymore. No one could take nothing away from me anymore, because I've been through so much. I've learned so much. Like, I know how to protect myself now, right? And I have so much powerful protection around me from the spiritual world. And it doesn't matter if I'm standing out there by myself, no one can fuck with me anymore, right? You know, like, people get so mistaken, and I feel bad for them, because the karma that hits them immediately, most of the time, for wanting to mess with me, because they see me alone. You know, they see me alone, and they say, like, you don't have no one to support you, to protect you, to back you up, you know. But they're sadly mistaken, because they get their karma right away, most of the time. Sometimes it takes a while, because they have so much, they've done so much bad, horrible shit to people, that a lot of the times, like, God will make them believe, like, make it appear that they won, right? If they went against me, make them think that they won when they didn't, right? They won the battle, but not the war. So make them think, and years could go by, months, days, weeks could go by, and they think that they won. But no, because God is gonna put them in their place. God is gonna bring the wrath of God to those people, to that person, you know. And He will make you see it too, you know. He will make me see it. And yeah, it hurts, because I have a big heart. If you've hurt me, you've done so much shit, even to my own mother. I still love my family, but they can't be in my life or my son's life, because I don't want that fucking cycle to go again with my own son. That karmic cycle. Never, never. And being a generational curse breaker, you have to cut your family off. That's the only way that you're gonna break the chains, the cycles, is by cutting your own family out of your life forever. That's the only way you're gonna bring change, you know, for the next generation to come, and for your own to have peace. And that was really another hard thing to do for me, was to cut them off, because I wasn't ready. There's things I had to learn. I was still attached to them. So, you know, I had to. And I know God, the Almighty God, was like, okay, it's time. You need to cut them off. Like, there's pressure that you need to cut your family off, you know? It was really hard. So, you know, sometimes slowly you have to do it. The attachment, slowly remove one, you know, with doing the work. That's the only way. You can't be lazy about it. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna cut the video. It's been a whole hour and 20 minutes. Alright, guys, have a good day. Bye.